edit this. Live stream, but it's kind of fun. I don't think we're live streaming it. Stop streaming, start recording, start virtual camera. Let's see. Update title, streaming. It's not working. Okay. Well, you know what? I'll just do the recording. You know what? It would be recording on Twitch if it is. That's probably a more reliable way to tell if we're streaming and what it looks like. Oh, yeah. We are live. We are, in fact, live. And the title is Grow from Streaming. So somehow our stream settings did not get saved. Oh my goodness, we did put so much work into that content. I hope it got saved. Stream information. Stream information. Oh, well, I think we may just have to right. Okay. We called it meet. Inspiring. This was the thing that got me. So I said update separately, and for whatever reason, it did not like that. So let me just try this update separately again before we get too deep and see if it says grow from streaming again. It's not capturing it. This one should update it. So it'll be writer. Thank you. This podcast. Uh, Missing the thread here. Okay, let's update all. Okay, I think that's good. So this is what we look like right now. Probably don't want to be looking at that. We want to be looking at us. We don't want to be looking at that. We want to be looking at us. So this should be opening up. You on YouTube. We are live. Growth through entertainment is probably not the title we need now because we changed that. So now it should be called. No, growth through entertainment is fine. Or yeah, right. Yeah, we'll leave. I think that's fine. I think we've done enough. All right. Let's get it started. We're going to hit start recording. God willing, we will have a solid quality recording at the end of this. Fingers crossed for sure. Let me just make sure I see you. Let me get my light. Okay. Look okay? Say what? Good. You're and this isn't something you can fix today, but your Zoom is blurry, so the edges of your shirt and stuff aren't as cut out. I'm guessing your background matches your shirt somewhat. You probably have a dark background behind you. Is it? Oh, it's not bad. Actually, move around a little bit. Okay. Yeah, Zoom just adds that like bubble on you whenever you move. That's all. Let's have a look. I kind of like the blurred one better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's take it from there. I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna start recording on Zoom. I think. Why do I not have the option record? Record. Record to the cloud. I shouldn't need it. AI companion working. Notes, captions. Okay. All right. It is going to start recording in as soon as I say go. Do you want to say anything before then? You're already live, so. So, oh, is my screen sharing recorded right now? Okay. So I stopped the screen share. I don't know that we need that. We may use it later on if there's something we want to share, but Um, I just was showing you OBS so that we could be on the same page with how that was getting set up. Um, but I think OBS looks good right now. We're at 30 frames per second. As long as my recording doesn't take a, so as long as my internet doesn't take a dive, I think we'll be okay. All right, bud. Let's jump into it. I'm going to start our recording on OBS. And here we go. So I'm here with Addie D. Goyal. Addie is the author of the book The Sun Waker. I'll just show you guys the book The Sun Waker here. It's a fantastic story. You can check out the review that I left on Amazon. Um, Addie lives pretty geographically close to me, right? You're in Hollywood. I'm in Pompano Beach. And we have a mutual friend who brought us together, Steve, who is a Toastmaster extraordinaire, who has his fingerprints on all of the Toastmasters in South Florida and has really built out that area of well, he's prolific in that area. And so he put Addie and I together knowing we were both interested in the personal growth space. And little did we know just how interesting it was going to be to connect to each other. We have very different takes on personal growth and very different ways that we'd like to help people grow. And so I'm so grateful, Addie, that you're here to talk with us. And I'm really interested to hear about, especially the Sun Waker, to talk about that. And I always have two questions for anybody that I talk to. One is, what is your personal growth story? What was like that moment, that defining moment that made you grow? And then I'll get to the second question later on in our call. But the story of personal growth, and the second question I'll ask later on in our podcast. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. Yep. One of the and I probably should have started with this. One of the things that really I admire about you is you're a young guy. I don't know how old. How old are you right now? 25. So you're in Toastmasters. You've produced videos. You've written a book. You are you are designing a video game at 25 years old, and so that's outstanding. And but the aura about you, in addition to that, is about giving. It's about being a part of this growth centered community. And one of the things we all hope, we all believe, or necessarily believe in this world of personal growth, is that we can become better people through our efforts. And they call it the growth mindset. And there's some people who don't believe that. I am who I am. I'm always going to be how I am, and that is what it is. Or I'm a failure. I can never get better at life, and so they carry that with them. But the Toastmasters people specifically, and certainly I see it in you, is this idea that I am where I am today. I want to grow. I want to get better, and so I'm going to be taking those steps to get there. And not only have you done some cool things, but you're also all about the giving back process and inspiring others along the way. So um, I think it's really important for the audience to know that's who you are, not just a creator and an entertainer and a prolific one at that, but also somebody who's really genuinely interested in other people and their growth. And I think both of those are tremendous assets and things that are compelling about you. Yeah, yeah. One thing that I really loved about the Sun Waker, and let's start with your book, because I think that this was a really well written book. I've been a prolific reader my life. I just, especially since personal development became a thing for me, trying to read as much as I can and learn as much about the world, learn as much about myself as possible. And so when I come across somebody who has a talent for writing, it's really obvious, and it's very obvious that you do. The way that you write, the way that you develop your characters, the way that you um, You provide vivid imagery of the situations that are in there. It's not something that everybody has, and so um, this book's really cool. It has, for those of you who haven't had a chance to read it, it has three stories in it. It's got three people who are in basically dire situations in life, and it talks about the process they go through to come out on the other side and think differently and view the world in a different way. And uh, my question for you, Addie, is what inspired you to write this? I've heard the story of how you wrote it, and I think that's a fantastic story too. But what inspired you to write this? Why this story? Why three characters? Why a story about change? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. There's you mentioned the actual diseases of the characters, but when I read the book, those aren't the diseases that I saw. For the first story, I saw the disease of someday, of workaholics. Workaholics always working for that someday payoff. And in the second story, uh, I saw the second story was the programmer, or was it the sickle cell, the developer? Yeah. So the second story, I saw the disease of boredom, of lack of motivation. And the third story, I saw the disease of lacking self-confidence. I mean, to me, those are the personal diseases along those stories that really intrigued me. And how you, even more than that, how you introduce them to people, or how you, the human connection between the character that was diseased, sometimes it was themselves, right? And the other characters who maybe had the personal disease or the mental affliction, how these personal connections helped them grow past what they were dealing with. And I found that incredible. The how each person had a different way that they connected with the diseased person to move them into the next stage of life. So was that planned as well? Or personal problems that create the disease? Mm, right. Yeah. Well, I really loved the book. I thought you hit home. At least two of the three stories were very relatable to me. The workaholic with the someday syndrome. So I always have to check myself and be like, okay, am I unbalanced? Am I spending too much time focused on trying to become successful, and do I need to focus more in other areas of my life? And then the other one about the developer who was bored in his job. And I remember years ago, I was sitting in a cubicle doing nothing at a job that I was not interested in. I didn't like the employees. I didn't like the space, blah, blah, blah. And, I sat in that for almost a year, and it was like, man, what were you doing? What were you trying to accomplish in life with that? A year is a long time to waste. So I really liked those stories, and I liked how you turned them around. I won't spoil it for everyone. I encourage anybody out there to get the Sunwaker, especially if you're looking for clues in how to motivate others. I think there's some really great gems in your book, Sunwaker. So yeah, let's talk about the broader spectrum, Addie. The broader spectrum of growth through entertainment. What does that mean to you taking this journey of yours next? Let me say that again. So I want to kind of circle back on growth through entertainment. So all of these things you focused on helping people grow. You have the video out there that helps people understand. Don't compete, collaborate. That's going to make you better. You're working on some other stuff. What brought you into the growth space? And where do you see it going for you? What is it that you hope to accomplish um, in the next 5, 10 years? Mm, mm. Remember it? Yes, that's right. Mm, mm, mm-hmm. Like of a passion, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's so insightful. And one of the things that the internet technology has done is completely flipped on its head the value of art. If you you look at years ago, it's like, okay, if you want to make money, you're an engineer, you're a scientist, you're a lawyer, you're this technical um, type of person. And nowadays with the internet, it's like, okay, you have this technology here, and that's great, but that's kind of what everybody can have. Like anybody can build this now. What's really important is how are you going to communicate that? How are you going to get that message out to the masses? And so I think we've seen a renaissance, so to speak, of the art and entertainment industry, and the availability of entertainers and artists to come out and be successful in their careers and in various different ways. And so I'm grateful for that. As a technical guy, I'm kind of like, hey, cool. But yeah, I was watching an old episode of Star Trek the other day, and one of the things that struck me after our earlier conversations was what Star Trek has done is given us a blueprint for what the world is going to be like when we're in space. You know, through their entertainment, through their medium of, there's the Federation and there's these suits, and this is what it looks like to manage a starship and all of the interactions that they have in there. And it's very much I don't want to say it's a utopian because they have a lot of challenges that they go through, but very much the crew is, here's how they're supposed to act, and here's what it means to be an upright, standing person in that society that they have. And I can't help but think that when we go to space, we're going to model that, and we're going to say, okay, the entertainers showed us the way decades ago for how this should look. Uh, so I wonder, do you think about that? Do you think like that entertainment has that space to model for people what the world should look like? Mm, yeah. Hmm. Right. Mm. You in your book, you list a number of people who have done just that as inspirations. Oh, am I back? Am I back yet? Okay. Yeah, in your book, you have a list of people here: Mary Pope Osborne, J.K. Rowling, Rick Riordan, Mark Osborne. Goes down some of the some of these names I don't know, but Stephen Covey, Tony Asay, Tim Ferriss, Ron Friedman, Bill Gates, Dale Carnegie. All of these people have been like that, right? They're the people who had dreams, had the passion to see them through and create something out of it. I think it's cool that you mentioned that. One of the things that interests me about the entertainment industry is, especially today, especially with shorts and reels, and it's like there's always a new way to consume media. And what I tell people as much as possible is try to move yourself away from being a consumer to becoming a producer, because success is not in consuming the things that other people create. Success is in creating your own stuff and bringing your own ideas to the world. But of course, there's a balance there. And so, as an entertainer, you say that that balance is for you, because you're obviously a creator, you're obviously producing, but is it like 50-50? Half the time you're watching YouTube videos and half the time you're creating, or what does that look like? Mm, yeah. Hang on one second. I think my internet's. I have bad news. I have bad news. Uh, so we don't have any guest audio on our stream. That's what I'm hearing. So, but that's okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the guest audio now, if possible, and then when I do the upload of the final video, we'll overlay the audio from Zoom. Uh, my wife she slipped this into the door. No audio from guest, only you. Well, this is all fun. Okay, audio input capture. Uh, Zoom audio. Let's see. Say something. Yeah, that didn't work. Zoom audio. Okay, try that. Nope, that didn't work. This is not easy. Hello. Hello. Okay, try that. Again. Again. Say it loud. No. No. Well, Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I hit record at the beginning of this on Zoom to capture it. And I'll have to, what it means is I'll have to overlay everything again because of the overlays that we have on, and it means the stream isn't working. Still got a lot to learn. Okay, cool. Sorry, before we got distracted, and big thank you to my wife for her message. I want the live stream to work. Now that I know people are watching the live stream, it's like, okay, let's get this. Tech audio, microphone Thunderbolt, voice changer device, Yeti. Can't be the Yeti. Can't be the default. Zoom audio is here, and it can't hear you. Well, okay. I just have to suck it up. All right. Well, oh, you went mute there. I didn't hear you. Now you're on. Yeah, so we were talking about producing versus consuming. You say you mostly produce on the weekends, or produce during the weekdays and consume on the weekends, and then let kind of your ideas from the weekend manifest themselves throughout your work during the week. Is that where we left off? Mm-hmm. Yeah. and then you turn into it, so you like have a hat and a bow and arrow. Mm. 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 Yeah, it's funny how you say people that you've been inspired by that you don't know personally. I think uh, one of the things that is really interesting about consulting, and that's kind of the full time job that I do is consulting, is that people are much more willing to listen to strangers and learn from strangers than they are from the people close to them. And I think mostly it's because we've already learned a lot from the people close to us, right? We know what they have to offer, what their strengths are, and what their advice would be in any given situation. So we're always looking for people, especially inspiring people. I mean, you mentioned a number of them at the end of that book, and to point us in a new direction, or give us some new thoughts and inspire us in new ways. And I really find that interesting. It's like from a motivation standpoint, from a personal growth standpoint, there is nothing better than helping somebody grow than introducing them to somebody they've never met before. That's motivational, right? Like having somebody motivational that they've never met before can sometimes be that spark for them. They're like, wow, I really like this person. I like what they sound like. I like the message that they have, and it's new and it's exciting. And there's that paradox. It's like sometimes it's easier to change people you don't know than it is to change people that you do. And we all kind of have that quality about us, about inspiring others, and you just never know who it is you're actually inspiring at the end of the day. Mhm. Yeah. Mm. Oh, I paused, or you paused. I may have lost the Zoom link. I'll have to edit this. Addie, if you can hear me, I lost you. It's all on me. There we go. Hey, Addie, I see you back. That may have been. That's okay. That may have been me as well. I don't know. Yeah. You were saying sometimes in the group you start to think like the group, and you start to. I know personally, like I raise my standards. Like whoever in the group is pushing it the most is the one that I look up to, right? If somebody's very excited and energetic about a topic or very knowledgeable about a topic, it's like, yeah, I want to follow that person. I want to see what it is that they're trying to achieve, and I want to help them achieve that, or I want to like at least, I want to match their level of energy that I'm giving to this particular project. And I think that's really what leadership is a lot about too, is being part of those groups and creating that, fostering that conducive environment, much like Steve does with our Toastmasters groups, right? And creating a place where people are continually trying to get better and better. So I think that's really interesting that you say it's not just people we don't know, but it's also the group settings that inspire us. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The group dynamics are incredibly powerful. They talk a lot about in the military when people leave the armed services and they go to live on their own, that their standards, their qualities may drop, their level of discipline may drop, and it's just there was the group, there was that standard that was set at the group dynamic level that unless you're very personally driven or personally, you have a strong internal compass, you have a tendency to fall below that after you leave the group. Mm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned our circumstances because I think the crux of the personal growth journey that people are on is the idea that here's our circumstances. You and everybody's going to have their own set of circumstances that they're going through in life, their own backgrounds, their own stories, their own mindsets and thought process. But the goal of it all is to say, we need to build you up enough so that you have the strength to break free from whatever it is that you're at today and move into a space where you want to be tomorrow. And whether that's breaking free of that group that could be negative and finding that positive group that can inspire and motivate you, or it's bad habits, whatever it is, this idea that the whole purpose of inspiring others, right? The whole purpose of growing is so that people can step out of what's holding them back and step into something that's going to make them better in the long run. And you've taken this to another level, not just looking at it at the personal level, but also looking at it at the environment level, at the for lack of a better word, maybe you could say it better, but you're developing a video game today that's saying here's what an ideal situation, is it city or is it town or is it would look like. So I'd love to hear more about that too. Walk us through what it is you're working on with this video game. When is it coming out? What is it going to look like? I saw some Legend of Zelda vibes from some of the graphics you sent me. Do you want to talk through that for everyone? Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I love that. I love the idea that first off, I like that it's short because people when we talk about consumerism versus production, that if you can compress something, if you can compress a positive message down, one, you keep interest longer, and two, you deliver it more impactfully. So I think you've done that in your book, and clearly it's a lesson that you're carrying over into the game as well. But I love the idea of the community. There's the book Rational Optimism. There's several books out there that talk about how the world is steadily getting better and better and better for people. And I see that. I see, there are tons of content producers out there today that are saying, you know, here's how you can improve. Here's how you can improve personally. Here's how we can love better. Here's how we can learn more. Here's how we can understand another language. We can watch a YouTube video to, like you said, take us to Japan and understand that culture and understand that history and connect with people that we never could connect with before in real meaningful ways. And it's all beautiful. But it takes people to do it, right? It takes somebody to create that, to create those YouTube videos. It takes somebody to create YouTube. It takes somebody to write a book. It takes somebody to build this content that connects us to one another. And it takes those dreamers, as you mentioned, to have those dreams and to create those things that come to their mind. And so kudos to you for inspiring the dreamers in all those ways for it. And you want to give us some more flavor of what's going to be in the game or when we can expect it? I know you're taking your time, you're making sure that the game's going to be good and ready and all that, but any insights you can share with us there? Mm. Okay. Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to get my hands on the game, to play it and do a review of the game. I know we're coming up on the hour here, so I just want to say, kind of wrap us up, but say, Addy, I love what you're doing, man. I love the book that you wrote. I love your vision for things. I love how you're bringing together. I mean, the design entertainment world is so foreign to me. I hope I can imbibe some of that in me coming out of this, but I love that that's the space you've chosen, and I think you're doing an incredible job with it at such a young age. So definitely, I'm your fan, and looking forward to seeing more of what you produce. Mm, I appreciate it, man. Well, thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll do this again. Hopefully, sometime October, November, to just share your game. All right, bud. Have a good one. We'll see each other around. All right. Bye. All right. We'll